Pain, human condition. I need a sip of coffee for this bit. Welcome back. Derek Hagan here, the Meaning in Life guy. I see the world through the lens of meaningful living, and that's what we do on this channel. We check out songs, poetry, other forms of art through the lens of meaningful living to see if we can learn anything about how we might live more meaningful lives. And so we're looking at things like purpose and meaning in life, narratives or mindsets. We're talking about personal values, mindfulness. Sorry. A little slow this morning, and things like resilience and things like that. So that's the lens that we're using here. In my professional life, I work as a financial therapist and financial psychology expert. So I'm exploring money's role in a meaningful life. If you're interested in that, you can check that out at meaning.blog. So highly requested Ren song, Dear God. We're going to check that out. If you're new here, this is your first time seeing me, check out Ren. I go through this twice. The first time, just a raw reaction to see what it's all about. And then the second time, with any comments that I might have, questions that I might have, things that we might learn, interpretations that I might make, those kinds of things. Without further ado, let's get to Dear God by Ren.
Hello. It's Ren. I don't really know how to start this letter. Oh, fuck it. Is this life really what it seems? Cause lately I've been in this place between awake and dreams. I know I only reach out to you when I'm feeling blue. I promise I'm not using you, I'm just confused. I've got some questions I would like some answers to. Like, is there meaning to this state of short existence? My existential thoughts show hope there are, cause I'm resistant to thinking that there won't be something better in the distance. And God, is there an afterlife where pain is non-existent? If you're up there, God, do you sit upon a throne? Or are you a humble soul wearing sandals and tattered clothes? Do you mingle with the people like an equal? Then on Sundays just kick back and chill and put your feet up? Did I really choose this life that I'm living now? Will my sins be forgiven if I speak them out? I won't lie to you, God, if there is a heaven, I really hope I get there, cause for real it sounds like heaven. Reading past the lines, I just let go. Searching for profits, my faith it is paper thin. So many questions in my mind, they replay like an echo. They never stop, my Messiah is porcelain. Dear God, why do people kill each other in your name? Is it really what you want, or have we lost our way? Cause it seems like religion can cause division, or people living in prisons of moral values they're given. What is right and what is wrong? Am I a sinner if I don't comply with everything that Moses said, or is that dumb? And why do people disguise hatred in your name? Homophobia, a history of violent wars and causing pain. High priests in the tower stacking riches, women burnt at the stakes called witches. In the name of God, Allah, Zeus, Jesus, people claiming lives justified by your allegiance. I think it's more complex than good versus evil. I think that there's both darkness and light inside people. Through different eyes, a man called a terrorist could be a freedom fighter if he's fighting for the side you're with. Reading past the lines, I just let go. Searching for profits, my faith it is paper thin. So many questions in my mind, they replay like an echo. They never stop, my Messiah is porcelain. So is it ignorant to claim that we know what you want? And if I fast for the Sabbath, is that what you want? Or is tradition just superstition, religion, a human vision just crafted out of people's ambition? Listen, I knew a girl that lost a baby before it was born. What's the purpose of that, God? What is it for? Why did my best friends die before I hit 25? Is it cause there's something better in the afterlife? God, I've been feeling suicidal lately. Mental health is worsening, it feels like it might break me. If you're watching, you know that I've been strong. But God, how much longer do I have to hold on? Please just give me some solace, so that I know you've got my back. Please just give me some relief. God, is that too much to ask?
Okay, so this is a song about him asking deep questions. Existential crisis, if I had to put a term for it, and I think that's what I'm going to throw in the title. Existential crisis. Questioning existence, questioning what this is all about, questioning my role, my place in all of this, and doing this through a communication or a letter even with God. And I was going to say the probably Christian God or Judeo-Christian God, Yahweh, um, but I forgot. I think he named a couple of names for God. Anyway, do you all know? Is he Christian? I don't know. I want to say that, but also this came across not only so on one hand this could be an existential crisis song. On the other hand, and maybe there's a lot of overlap here, questioning my faith song. In some camps, you would argue those are the same thing, but half the time, or some of the time, I was picking up on this is an existential crisis. Whether it's true or not, it's an interesting song. Whether he's actually feeling these, but this might have come right straight out of his heart. And then, is there a questioning faith aspect to this? I don't know. Let's check it out again and see what else is in here.
Hello. It's Ren. I don't really know how to start this letter. Oh, fuck it.
So, if you're going to write a letter to your God, would you say fuck it? I don't know if I would.
Is this life really what it seems? Because lately I've been in this place between awake and dreams. I know I only reach out.
I've been between awake and dream. This is kind of, I'm picking up, this is that feeling of being in a fog, kind of this feeling of being floating, sleepwalking through life. Is that where he's going with that? Kind of, yeah, I'm not asleep, but I'm not really awake either. Like I'm not experiencing this life.
What it seems, because lately I've been in this place between awake and dreams. I know I only reach out to you when I'm feeling blue, I promise.
And I think that's a stereotype that people tend to only pray when I want something. In other words, I'm using you. Or I only reach out when I'm feeling bad and I want something from you, so please give me something.
I'm not using you, I'm just confused. I've got some questions I would like some answers to. Like, is there meaning to this state of short existence?
This is exactly my whole role in the world. Is there meaning to this existence? How did he say it?
Confused. I've got some questions I would like some answers to. Like,
is there meaning to this state of short existence? This is a very common question, and it's not as simple as it looks. It's a very simple question with a very difficult answer, because it depends on what the word meaning means. Meaning and means, that it has a lot of different interpretations and a lot of different definitions and possible definitions. What does that word mean? What did you mean by that? What is the meaning of this? They're all technical, kind of little different ways to use that word. So through my world, I try wherever I can to either add in life, meaning in life, because there's a subtle difference. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of my life? And he didn't use of. He said to. Is there a meaning to life? Is that the same thing? Is there a meaning to this existence? And he's acknowledging the short existence. Short is relative, of course. We don't have to go back that many generations, and life expectancy was my age, early 40s, mid 40s. That's how long people lived, and now we've more than doubled that. So what does short mean? I think, if I'm interpreting right, short means, and this is just the shitty nature of, maybe not shitty. Let me put a gratitude lens on that. That's just the ironic nature of life. By the time you figure it out, or by the time you've got some experience under your belt, it's time to go. So that's the short existence. Now, is there a meaning to life? What is the meaning of life? Those questions are difficult to answer, and those questions lead to a song called Dear God, where I don't know the answer to this question. So I ask a different question, meaning in life. How do I find meaning in my life? Or meaningful. How can I make this life meaningful? Because if we start asking what is the meaning of life, if you really get scientific and philosophical, you can get really easily to the point where, no, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a result of random things that have happened, and it's a complete random luck that I'm here, and so many things had to happen for me to be here. And how many people aren't here, and I'm here instead? Well, you can find gratitude for that, even if life's going to suck. And I think he talks about the human condition here later too. But anyway, what's the meaning of this short life?
Their meaning to this state of short existence. My existential thoughts show hope there are, cause I'm resistant to thinking that there won't be something better in the distance. And God, is there an afterlife where pain is non-existent? Thinking that
I'm resistant to thinking that there won't be something better in the distance. I didn't catch that the first time because he broke it up into different stanzas. I'm resistant to thinking that there's something better in the distance. He's said in Meaning, a poem by Ren, the Buddhist, the mindful lens, even the Stoic lens of this is what we have right now. The present moment is all you get. So whatever's in the distance, all that's just a thought that we're making up in our head, anyways. And hope is an idea. A guy named Mark Manson, has a book called "Everything Is Fucked," a book about hope. And the main claim he makes in this book is that hope is sitting in the present, wishing things were different. So don't hope for better, just be better. Again, all this stuff is easier, sounds easier than it actually is, but hoping for things to change, you can do that, but what are you going to do right now to make things better? That's a sidetrack. He's not asking necessarily about that, but he's saying, I don't have a lot of hope that something's better in the distance. Now, he doesn't define better, at least yet.
there won't be something better in the distance. And God, is there an afterlife where pain is non-existent?
Okay, we've talked about this before. Pain, human condition. I need a sip of coffee for this bit. What would life be like with no pain, no worries, no troubles, no struggles, nothing, no problems to solve, nothing to do except be happy all the time? That sounds boring. Absolutely boring. What are you doing all day long? Just laying on a cloud, strumming a harp, nothing ever happens, and you do that forever? You can't even fathom forever. We are not equipped to deal with infinity. Think of the biggest number that you can imagine. 50 billion, right? You can double that. Or you can take 50 billion to the 50 billionth power, and then you can take that to the 50 billionth power. Forever is a long time. And when there's nothing that goes wrong, when there's no problems to solve, when there's no things no challenges to overcome, you think of this like the ocean, completely calm. You can't surf, right? You can't do anything really fun in there in the ocean with no waves. There's no tides if there's no waves. And if somebody threw a pebble and you got these little ripples, it's going to disrupt your state of no waves, and you're going to be upset by a little ripple because you've gotten used to no problems whatsoever. So we have to be careful about wishing for a pain-free or a problem-free or a struggle-free existence, because if you think through that, if you see where that domino falls, call back to dominoes, then you see that you probably don't necessarily want that.
If you're up there, God, do you sit upon a throne, or are you a humble soul wearing sandals and tattered clothes?
That's
do
a
you
great question. I never
mingle with the
thought
people
about
like an equal, then on Sundays just kick back and chill and put your feet up? Did I really choose this life that I'm living now? Will my sins be forgiven if I speak them out? I won't lie to you, God, if there is a heaven, I really hope I get there, cause for real it sounds like heaven.
Now, I don't know why. I just have this little I don't know what you call it. When people use the same words, he rhymes heaven with heaven. That's not even a rhyme. That's just the same word. And I'm trying to think, is there a multi-syllable? There is a heaven. Sounds like heaven. Okay. So I'm giving him a pass. It did take a little bit for me to get it. He is using the same word, but he's using the word in different ways. Is there a heaven? He's talking about the place that everybody thinks exists up there, whatever up there is. Because remember, there's no up. We're just on a ball. So up, depending on where you are in the country, we're pointing to different, or in the on Earth. I mean, depending on where you are on Earth, pointing up, you're pointing a different direction. But whatever up there is the place. And then sounds like heaven is not the place. It's more of a state of that sounds really good. So I'll give them
Reading
past
past the lines, I just let go. Searching for profits, my faith it is paper thin. So many questions in my mind, they replay like an echo.
It's a rumination.
They never stop, my Messiah is porcelain.
Dear God, why do people kill each other in your name?
Well, this is a super great question. Deeper than we'll talk about today. But it's, well, let's talk about it a little bit. Because the three pillars of a meaningful life are having a purpose. That's something to have, something to do with your time, something meaningful to do with your time. There's a sense of feeling like life is worth living, feeling valuable, having personal values, having a life that aligns with those personal values. And then the third leg is a sense of coherence. This is your story, your narrative. What's the story you tell yourself about how things should and shouldn't work? A coherent worldview is necessary, because if things are chaotic and things don't make sense, it's hard to feel like your life is meaningful. Many people, probably most people, and certainly throughout history, I mean, a religion existed to answer these questions about everything here, everything that he's asking. What the heck is going on? Humans are the first that we know of animal that's able to think about this kind of stuff. My dog doesn't think about this stuff. My cat doesn't think about what's the purpose of my life here. Is there a purpose to my life? What am I supposed to be doing here? They just live their damn life. And these questions come up, and religions fill those gaps. And that's fine. Way, way, way back when we're in tribal times, and all I knew was the story you're telling me as my elders. But then we start to meet, and we move, and we migrate, and we meet other cultures who have different gods and different religions and different points of view and different answers to these same questions. Well, that learning that there's a different way to view this coherent narrative that I set up disrupts my shit. So I need to deny that. To keep this sense of coherence, I need to deny this other answer. And then maybe there's a third and a fourth and a fifth religion, and oh my goodness, what there's more answers to this question, but they can't all be right. So either I need to have an existential crisis and worry if my life is meaningful or not, or worry if all this matters, or what it matters, or what it is, and all these questions, or I need to hold on to this worldview. And if I hold on to this worldview, I'm obviously right, and you're obviously fucking stupid. And you think the exact same thing about me. And then we clash. And then we go to war. Even though religions often, most of them, preach peace. But it's not peace if you're taking over another tribe in the name of God. So anyway, the reason it happens is to keep a sense of, again, through my lens. I'm not answering definitively here, but we want to keep our sense of coherence. And anything that threatens me, especially if I've identified as a person of this faith or that faith, and then you give me some evidence that it might be wrong, you're challenging my existence, and I will fight for that.
Is it really what you want, or have we lost our way? Because it seems like religion can cause division, or people living in prisons of moral values they're given. What is right and what is wrong? Am I a
That depends on entirely of what your values are and what your worldview is.
sinner if I don't comply with everything that Moses said, or is that dumb? And why do people disguise hatred in your name? Homophobia, a history of violent wars and causing pain. High priests in the tower stacking riches, women burnt at the stakes called witches.
These were all justified too. All this stuff made sense to these people at the time. They didn't have any idea. And so one thought experiment is to think about what 100 years from now I won't exist, but what will people say, or even 500 years, what will people say they did what? Are you serious? Some people think it's eating animals. Some people think it's sitting all day long like I'm doing now. Who knows?
In the name of God, Allah, Zeus, Jesus, people.
Allah, Zeus, Jesus. So Allah is the Islamic God. And if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, very much might be, is Allah just a term for God, or is Allah a different God than Jews and Christians worship? Please, if you know that answer, I don't know that answer. Zeus is definitely a different God, and Jesus is confusing because on one hand he's the son of God, and on the other hand he is God, and that's kind of confusing to me. But yeah, there's been about 3,000 gods that have been thought up by humans, and we don't believe in most of them. Right? And if you believe in Yahweh, for example, that means you don't believe in 2,999 gods. And anybody who believes in one of those gods is obviously wrong. But even if you got the same God, Jews and Christians, you might say, well, but we're worshiping through somebody different, through, Moses or Muhammad or Jesus, whatever, even though it's the same God. It's because then in Christianity, they got even branches within Christianity. And then, yeah, people want to go defend their
Claiming lives justified by your allegiance. I think it's more complex than good versus evil. I think that there's both darkness and light inside people. Through different eyes, a man called a terrorist could be a freedom fighter if he's fighting for the side.
Fighting with the side. This is exactly the question, or this is an example of the question he posed just a few lines ago, which was something to the effect of what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is evil. That depends entirely on your perspective. What point of view do you have? This is a terrorist. If you're flying into my buildings, you're a terrorist. If I'm blowing up your city, I'm a freedom fighter. But it's the opposite from the other person's point of view. And if you could be an objective third party looking in, you might just think they're just crazy people fighting in the name of God.
You're with
reading past the lines, I just let go. Searching for profits, my faith it is paper thin. So many questions in my mind, they replay like an echo. They never stop, my Messiah is porcelain.
So is it ignorant to claim that we know what you want? And if I fast for the Sabbath, is that what you want? Or is tradition just superstition, religion, a human vision just crafted out of people's ambition? Listen, I knew a girl that lost a baby before it was born. What's the purpose of that, God? What is it for?
These kinds of things are another, maybe not another, but a reason people have existential crises too, because this threatens their sense of coherence. It doesn't impact my purpose. If my purpose is to teach people, or my purpose is to explore nature, my purpose is to be a mentor, all that's great. A baby dying before it's born doesn't impact that. Feeling valuable, feeling like my life is worth living, or feeling like life is worth living in general, that's not impacted by that. But the sense of coherence, babies aren't supposed to die before they're born. That disrupts my sense of coherence and can easily spin me into an existential crisis where I question what is the meaning of everything.
Why did my best friends die before I hit 25? Is it because there's something better in the afterlife? God.
And that's a question that keeps that sense of coherence. Well, maybe it's part of this plan, or maybe there must be some other thing, because otherwise I can't make sense of it.
I've been feeling suicidal lately. Mental health is worsening. It feels like it might break me. If you're watching, you know that I've been strong. But God, how much longer do I have to hold on? Please just give me some solace, so that I know you've got my back. Please just give me some relief. God, is that too much to ask?
So, what did you think about this? How did this song hit you the first time? And now after hearing it a few times? I picked up on existential crisis themes, questioning what's the point of this life, often brought on by some traumatic event, and especially destroying or cracking that sense of coherence that I have. So that's what I picked up out of this, but I'm curious what you think. Where do we agree? Where do we disagree? What else should I check out? And I'll see you here next time.